Welcome back, everybody, to the Visitor Parking Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Vargas, and you are watching episode 36. We have a very special show to you tonight because we are also filming this live on TikTok Live. So let's give a shout out to our sponsors, TikTok. Woo! Thank you guys for sponsoring. If you find me on live, you can find me under Alex Vargas Media. We're on live every other night. And you can find us there. So we've got a great show for you guys. We've got a lot of things that are happening in the world. The president is dead. I repeat, no, I'm just kidding. That was just a rumor over the weekend that a lot of people, I guess, thought that could be true. And the way they reacted to it, I don't know. I think some celebrated the fake death. Some mourned in the far corners of Middle Earth. People that mourned probably lived in Mordor if they were sad. No, but president's still alive, still doing his thing, so hard to stop him. Love Island, we had a reunion. Somehow I thought it was done. I thought we didn't have to put up with this anymore, but it was, in fact, still alive. Huda's still out there somewhere. She's out there, and she's got, dude, you know why I'm not going to make it through the live? Because I swear a lot on my podcast. I won't. So, guys, we're gonna have to make it through this podcast without swearing. So, if you came here for the F-bombs and every other swear word I could be using, you're wrong. But yeah, we saw Huda out there. I saw my girl Hannah. Just kidding. I'm married, but the girl Hannah, not my Hannah's secret account on TikTok that I don't follow, but she was on there. She was crying. You know what I didn't get about Love Island is if you watch the show, the people on there were like really invested, not just like in hooking up, which was like the whole point of this show, but they were really invested in like people leaving Love Island. Like none of them knew that someone was going to be leaving the show. Every time it would happen, they would just scream and cry. Even the guys were crying. I talked about this last time with the pancakes, the guys bringing up the pancakes to the girls. It doesn't make any sense. You already like this whole show blew my mind because all these dudes have 9-packs and they're like bringing their women breakfast in bed. I'm like, you did it. Like you already won. Like you got enough. Like you don't need to bring her breakfast, king. Like just relax. Just go sit on the couch. She'll come to you. If I was on that show, you wouldn't get fed for weeks. Not from me. You'd have to go to the chef and say, "Hey, my match isn't bringing me breakfast, so can you actually make me food?" So I would actually have the chefs be doing their jobs on Love Island. I wouldn't just be sitting back and cooking for my lady on there. But yeah, I'm happily married, coming up on a year now. Shout out to my beautiful wife. She joined us on the live earlier today, and I thought that was pretty chill of her. She left probably to read her erotica novels. And I could share a really, really good story where I just put her on blast right now. But it not only would make her cry, it would get me severely in hot. Dude, I could embarrass her right now so bad. When you live with a woman, you really get weird stories. Like you see the weirdest things happen. That's all I'm going to say. There's nothing cool about living with a girl other than, the occasional later. But honestly, they're just different than us. They have I can't go into any more detail. Even though I think this probably could have happened to a man. Now that I think about it, this was this was lateral sexual what happened. Not bisexual, but it was kind of could have happened to a man or woman, but we won't get into it. Anyway, speaking of what happened, I can't. Now I have to change my topics on what to say here. We're going off script. Producers, what were we talking about again? That's you. Love Island. Okay. I'm gonna actually use TikTok Live as my producers because I will forget. But yeah, I saw Huda's dumb. Dude, I can't swear. I can't say things. I saw Huda's unintelligent looking self on the gram, and she just looked like a stripper. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but like she wore brown for her birthday. She just had that. She had that outfit, where she probably had a lot of fun buying the outfit. Like the dollar bills that she makes really just excites her. The song was like Nympho that she chose. I saw her TikTok. I don't know. I'm a Huda hater, bro. I was not a Huda person. Huda came up to me like I'm on my guard. Like if Huda came up to me, I'd be like immediately like thinking she wants to box me. Audience member just asked if I was Conrad or Jeremiah. I have no clue who those people are. I have no clue who those people are. Don't say it again. Uh, I think Jeremiah was the tall black dude, right? Which one was Jeremiah? The tall white dude? Jeremiah? Yeah, I don't know which one. Which one is Jeremiah, dude? You can't just switch topics on what we're talking about. Who? I'm sorry. People are talking to me on the live. They don't realize this isn't a real podcast, and I'm gonna have to splice all this audio up. God. Anyway, I found out. I found this. You know who Huda reminds me of? Snooky from Jersey Shore. Like it's taken me long enough to put the pieces together, but I smell a rat, and that girl just reminds me of a little beach creature a little bit. Like she kind of reminds me of a dude. This is bad. This is bad. I can't be saying this on my transcriptions. Hold on, I'm sorry if we ever meet on the gram, but we won't. Well, there were some other interesting characters on there. We had a Maya Papaya, just short-lived fame, I think. She really didn't have a personality at all. I never could have seen myself with a Maya, really. That really, yeah. And she had a lisp. I didn't. Everyone loved the lisp. I didn't like the lisp. I'm gonna be honest. Like I didn't like the lisp. Like go to speech therapy, fix the lisp. This is why I almost get famous one day, and they like play back this live, and they're like, "You're never coming on Netflix." Yeah. Well, also, I think I was like, I'm a hardcore liberal. I come out here and I defend my Jesus and my Joe Biden anytime. I'll come up to the plate for Kamala sometimes. I love the Clintons. Big fan of the Clintons. I love Obama. Voted for all these people, except all the other people I was too young to vote for. Um, where was I going with this, Maddie? Dude, I lost train of thought there. Oh yeah, I was getting canceled. Yeah, I would get canceled fast. I would get canceled fast. I would have to like find the boys, but since all the boys are like Republican, they'd be like, "You can't come on our show." So I'm literally like the guy in Happy Feet. I don't fit in anywhere, you know. Because I'm not a hardcore Republican, but I'm also not a. I can't say the p word, but you know, I don't know. I don't swing that far to the left. You know, still got my, still got my, my what's attached to me. Um, um, yeah, I would get canceled fast. I don't know what they'd come for me first though. What would they get me for first? I feel like everyone's would go for like the racism card fast. They'd like try to get that one right out. But I feel like other than that, I don't know. They'd probably target me as like an insensitivity. I'd be like flagged under he's insensitive. And I could take that. I'm like, that's it? Because they would try to I'd probably be a pickle for them to figure out what to cancel. Like what angle are you gonna take first? Yeah, politics. Yeah, but I think I'm swaying in the right direction, and I was early on the Trump is stuff, but I'm just happy I have a show just in case they do take me. At least people are like, well, he was a big Democrat, and like he did not support Trump, and he disappeared now. And they send me back to Caracas. I end up fighting in the Venezuelan army, and they're like, I become one of them. I have arepas every morning. and they know who I am, and they're like Vargas, and I lead Venezuela to freedom. It's like Dune. It's like they're like Arrakis. It's like I'm the guy from Dune who I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides, Duke of Arrakis. Dude, oh, I love that movie so much. Can we talk about Dune? Is that allowed? Dude, I am Paul Muad'Dib Atreides. Dude, nothing was better than that scene. Do you remember that? What did he say? May thy knife chip and shatter. Dude. Yeah. There was, Rob Pattinson, the guy from Twilight's going to come be in the next Dune. He plays the new bad guy or like one of the new guys in there. He might even be the son of Paul Atreides. But do you guys know that do you know that Dune predates Star Wars? Do you know that Dune came out before Star Wars and that it's the same principle? Paul Atreides is basically Anakin Skywalker. He turns into like Darth Vader. Yeah, like Paul turns evil as fuck. He kills millions of people. But he kind of knew that was, dude, nothing's better. Javier Bardem is in that movie. They had so many stars in that. Who's the guy? Not Angelina Jolie's father. Was it John Voight? Yeah, it was. They had John Voight or something. Who was the guy? No, it wasn't John Voight. It was the other guy who was the Emperor. He was so good. Who was the Emperor in Dune? I can look this up. Who was the Emperor in Dune? He was played by, where is it? We're almost here. This is why I don't use Google anymore. Just ChatGPT would do this faster. I'm sorry, everybody. Let's get into our next segment, guys. I mean, we do this every week. I'm going to do 10 paradoxes. I know this. What? No, so this segment is actually not about conspiracy theories, Maddie. Get your own podcast. This is about paradoxes. Did you guys not listen to last week's episode? Go back and listen. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's start this week's episode again. And she doesn't know. We're going to start with what's a paradox for 500? Maddie, are you listening? Are all my listeners listening? A paradox is a statement, situation, or idea that seems to contradict itself but often reveals a deeper truth when you think about it. On the surface, it looks impossible or illogical, but when you examine it closely, it challenges your assumptions, and you start to see reality in a new way. Dude, you don't know what a paradox is? Okay. Explain in a third grade reading level, which is actually how you should send sales emails, by the way. A paradox is something that sounds wrong or silly at first, but when you think harder, it actually makes you stop to wonder. So most movies or books you read, it's a paradox. Like there's usually paradoxes at play all the time. Like, she can be with the guy, but if she is with the guy, it means she's never really going to be with, the guy that she had. Like, there's a lot of things. Let's go. Top 10 paradoxes. Okay, now just give me a minute. We did this last time. The liar paradox. I'm lying right now. If it's true, it's false. If it's false, it's true. The barber paradox. A barber says he shaves everyone who doesn't shave themselves. But who shaves the barber? These are really hard. They're okay. Give me new ones. Yeah, okay. All right. The paradox of choice. The more options you have, the harder it actually becomes to choose, and the less happy you feel after you make a choice. So basically, it's the paradox of choice is the more options is actually worse for you because you're never going to be happy knowing that you could have picked something else because you don't know what that is. The Fermi paradox, the universe is huge, full of stars and planets. So where everybody is, why haven't we seen aliens yet? The paradox of the arrow. If time is made of tiny instants, then an arrow in flight is actually frozen in every instant. How does it move? What does that mean? That's a reach. That's a reach. On paradoxes, you're like ready to leave. You're like, I won't be here for this if you continue on. All right. Yeah, we'll move on from paradoxes. That was a bad segment. Wow. You ruined that. You guys ruined that. I didn't ruin that. We're going to keep going. Top 10 paradoxes. But I cut a lot of this up, Maddie, so like I wouldn't really run this long. Like I have to take a break in between. Just give me the same ones. Give me the same ones. All right. I don't know. There's just a lot of them. Yeah. Okay. We can talk about the Drake and Bobby podcast. First off, when you get two people in the room that are like as big as Drake is, and she's pretty big for being like a female podcaster who's just like, does what she does after the podcast, which she doesn't do. She doesn't do that stuff. She's not like the other girls. Does she do that stuff? I was kind of getting the vibe that Drake was thirsty for it, and it was almost hard to believe that he didn't do something before because she got blocked on everything. So like either like she didn't give it up and he blocked her on everything and got mad at her, and then he's like trying again on. Yeah, I don't know they didn't really get into what it is. And also when they asked Drake about marriage, he's spoken the most roundabout incomplete sentences. It was hilarious. He's like, when she believes. Or he's like gotta believe in it. And yeah, yes, with the C cups or the O cups or whatever they were. It was honestly like you bring somebody over to your bedroom to have intercourse in college. And is this appropriate to say on TikTok? Am I allowed to say intercourse? No, it's like get out. Um, but it felt like they were just in the bed talking to each other, and he was just trying to the whole time trying to be like, yeah, yeah. And she's like, okay, so you're gonna show me the rest of your room or not? Are we gonna? I don't know. I think he gets so much of what he wants that he's kind of like sedated in a way. He's not really like seeing clearly anymore. He's so wealthy, and he's like he just. But at the same time, who? Oh yeah, so they definitely did the business. They talked about getting, dude. They literally talked about getting married at the end of the podcast. They just kind of flirt, and we basically just watched like their foreplay. So it kind of made me uncomfortable because I felt like Drake wasn't giving it like even 10% of his energy, which was kind of cool of Drake. I was like, this is dope that he's able to like not be real at all with her because he was not being real whatsoever. I know Drizzy, and like Drizzy did not give an F about this interview. It was more just like he wanted to pop out there and he just wanted to like do his thing. Then he tells this bum ass story. God, I can't say this word. Drake tells this story about when he got arrested. It's like watching the rich kid be like, "Oh yeah, I've been to prison." It's like, no, you haven't been to prison, Drake. We would have heard if you were in jail. And it was like for like 8 hours in Switzerland. All right, Maddie, what's next? All right, we're gonna take a quick break here. God, what? All right, what do I talk about next? Because I got fucking 10. I've already did 20 minutes, and I probably have 15 minutes because after I edit. So I need like an pop culture things. Oh, Sabrina Carpenter's new album. Of course, we listen to it. I love Sabrina Carpenter. Okay, the next segment of the podcast, the next segment of the podcast, we'll talk about Sabrina Carpenter and how like if we happen to meet. Um, Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Visitor Parking Show. Sorry about that. We had to take a short intermission with our sponsors. Who are our sponsors, you ask? We're going to have sponsors on here very soon. Oh, yeah. What's that water bottle where you can fuck? What's that water bottle that you can suck and chug? It's the Owala. You could suck on it, or you could chug that water, dude. That's what I got. It's a little skeptical water bottle. Doesn't know who it is. Doesn't know what it wants to be. Just knows it's enough to get water in your mouth. So if you want to go buy one, sponsor us, Okawala. Or you can Okawala. You can Okawala, where you can suck this water bottle, or you can just chug it down, bottoms up. You know, you can have that water any way you want it. So that's our sponsor, I guess. They didn't, dude. Do you have one too? I want to go get one. Break. Sometimes the straw doesn't work though. Uh, oh. Sorry, we're gonna do it again. Da-da-da-da-da. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. We had to take a short intermission, but you're listening to the Visitor Parking Podcast. We're about halfway through this thing. I think after last episode, you guys deserved more of a high energy podcast. So I wanted to give you that. Get back to the chaos. We're just visiting, just reminding everybody that we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. So I'm here proudly with our new sponsor, Okawala, where you can suck it. You can. This is a product that you can suck, or you can turn it upside down and chug it, and it gets water in your mouth. It keeps you hydrated because it's fun. Because there's two different ways you can access that water into your mouth. That's our sponsor, Okawala. You could suck it or you could drink it. So hopefully they sponsor me after that. Hearing that ad, that's my sample. That's how I'd market you. So if you want that, you should come to me, and you can charge me for it, and I'll do it a jingle for you, Okawala. And I think it's actually not called an Okawala, Maddie. It's actually it's an Owala. It's an Owala. But yeah, we're giving out passes for saying things wrong. What if you got a free pass from, let's say your significant other? Everybody's got that cheap meal on the diet, right? Everybody kind of goes off the menu and talking about it. They get a little buffalo. You get a little buffalo wing. You do something. Everybody's got a free pass. Who's your free pass in a relationship? We all talk about it once you get in one. Oh, mine would be, Brad Pitt. Mine would be, I don't know. So my wife asked me the other day. She's like, "Who would your free pass be, Alex?" I don't know what hers was. It was some disgusting six-packed male, tall figure, had tattoos, and he's a fairy, and he does weird positions quickly. Like, that's her, probably pass as some fictional book character. I told her I didn't really know how to answer that question. It was hard, but if I had to think about somebody, like if I was at a hotel, right, if I was at like a hotel, right, and like Katie's in the shower, and I'm downstairs in the lobby, like having a coffee and like writing my novel, and look who walks in. It's Sabrina Carpenter, and she like starts talking to me. She's like, "Wow, so good to see you here. Like, I only have 15 minutes before my show. Why don't you come up to my room?" I'd be like, I'm married. I can't do that. But push comes to shove, and it's Sabrina Carpenter. He said I could have a pass. Her new album just came out. A fantastic album. Fantastic album. The girl is so talented. She is like a raunchy Taylor Swift. You know what? She's one of those fairy erotica novelist peoples. I don't know what they're called. What is that book called? Silver Wing, The Fourth Wing, Sarah Jones, Nora Ma. I don't know what their names are. Nora Jones and Sarah Ma, maybe. But yeah, Maddie, I need to know what I'm talking about. You have to come back. God. Maddie, I need you staying engaged. Sunny Angel? What the fuck is Sunny Angel? Oh my gosh, my sister just stopped me to talk about a Labubu. It's called a Sunny Angel. So Sunny Angel, and it's so different than a Labubu. It's so much different. Like these people will probably go at you to talk about their Sunny Angel Labubus. Wow, I'm so sorry, Maddie. You should probably get off the live now. All right. So everybody's got a free pass in life. Sabrina Carpenter was on the list, but I decided, I'm not a free pass guy. That's not who I am deep down. So Sabrina, as much as I would like to talk to you and go back to your room and we could do song lyrics together. We could like act them. There's stuff that we could go. I can't because I'm married, and I think she's too young for me. I don't know what her age is. Sabrina Carpenter, yeah, and I'm married, Sabrina. Like, I'm not gonna do that. But man, that new album, she's so good. She is like a much better version of Taylor Swift. I don't know. Maybe we're fooling ourselves. She's a little bit like Drake in that way, where it's like I can't really decide if yeah, she's Katie's age, so I guess Katie's too young for me. Damn, that's crazy. Her and my wife are the same age. That's a bad deal. But who we got on here? Boss Corcoran. All right, Maddie, I need 10 more minutes of this podcast so I can wrap it up. What do I talk about? And I have to listen to this stuff back. I haven't listened to any of it. Love you, bro. I know. Once I splice it all down and get it out there, who knows? Yeah, what else should we talk about? I need like 10 more minutes of content. All right, so we did Love Island barely though. We did what else did we do? Okay. Dancing with the Stars. I'm basically just fabricating a love story between me and Sabrina Carpenter. So we should probably just keep going with that. Who's the star, I guess? I know how Sabrina Carpenter and I would probably meet. After things we hit it off pretty well at the hotel. Next thing you know, we end up. What is it that we were gonna do, Maddie? Dude, I literally lost that train of thought. This is so hard. All right, but so I should drop the Sabrina act. All right, so basically, I Sabrina Carpenter's not in Dancing with the Stars, but I wish she was, and I miss her being on it. I wish she was. What? I don't know who that is, bro. Uh, yeah, Alex Earl's on the show. I don't know who these people are. That's the problem. Like, um, Dancing with the Stars for me, it should be like Kai Sanat or like I Show Speed. Like, I don't want to see like whoever you just talked about. I don't want to talk about Sabrina anymore. You ruined it. Like, you guys ruined it. You made it creepy. You made it weird. Me and Sabrina just wanted to talk, dude. Is her name even Sabrina? Okay. Um, I guess you don't want a life update. People don't like that. Like what? People like I've been trying to do life updates on this show and I just can't do it. Like I'm just like I don't want to share with you. And they're like, "Why'd you make me come on this podcast if you weren't going to share anything with me?" All right, guys, you want to know the truth? Truth is my birthday is coming up and I'm stressed because I'm a princess and like if my birthday don't go the way I think it's going to go, I'm going to get upset. So yeah, no, my birthday's coming up. I love my birthday. I'll be 31. Not too excited about 31 because then I just, the next thing you know is I'm going to be 40 and my kids are going to be talking back and, they're going to be going off to college and they're going to be angry at me. And, it's just stuff's going to change, but it's hard for me to talk about my personal life on here. That's why podcasting is a real skill because it's like, I need to talk about something else because it's like, I think it's not that I've been having a rough go of it personally, but like, I don't really like summer. I don't like the way that summer, it's really hot. So I'm just getting happy. Like I've been playing a lot of golf. Like I love golf. I think I've got some. I don't know what I'm getting for my birthday, but I think it's golf themed this year. So I'm pretty excited about it. Maddie, I think I'm going to see you at dinner. I think we're all going to dinner on Monday, so that'll be nice. The one thing my wife told me that she wanted me to do was figure out my birthday plans for the weekend, but I don't know, like maybe just we go out and see a movie on or Saturday or something. Yeah, we did the F1 arcade. She took me on the best date. Um, we used to do this in the beginning for each other a lot. Would be like taking us out on like surprise dates. Like I would do one, she would do one, and that like kept the relationship pretty fresh for a while. And I don't know. Once you have kids, you just kind of stop doing that stuff because you get a babysitter. You're both so tired. Like let's just go to the bar right down the road and have fun for a little bit. And a little bit turns into a late bit, and it's just a lot. So she took me out. We went to DC. We were nervous. I was nervous about the National Guard. She's like, "You're freaking me out." And it's like, well, I'm freaking Vargas. I don't know if I'm gonna get freaking snatched up out there. And then I got a Trump negative podcast, so who knows what they're gonna say. The National Guard wasn't worried about me. We didn't even see him, to be honest. I will say that drivers there, they took us around the city. So that was new. It was either they shut down the main strip or the drivers are immigrants and don't want to stop there anymore. So it took a little bit longer to get where we had to go. But yeah, it's the F1 arcade. It's out there in DC. It's so much fun because F1 just came out. So that's kind of been all the rage. And I love F1. So yeah, so I got to drive that, and it was actually really realistic. So I was like almost got dizzy a couple different times, because it was so real. And we got to drink. It was super classy. It was like a bar. It was not an arcade. I don't know how to describe it. Like the arcade is pretty like the seats are dark. It's dark lit, so it's like you couldn't really tell it was an arcade. It's very upscale, even though the area that it was in looked like somebody would ask you for like a Marlboro Light, if they're like arm might have been hanging out their white beater, and there was a Motel 6 or 16 across the street with busted out windows. There's graffiti everywhere. I was like, why isn't the National Guard down here? I don't feel very safe. So we got right in and right out of the Uber, and I'm like, I shouldn't have to feel unsafe here, my brother. So, so it was a good time. It was a good time for sure. We stayed there. We played for like an hour, I think, 45 minutes. Got really good dinner. They had the best fried chicken there. They had like the best fried chicken. So I don't know if that was just the area that we were at or if that restaurant was just known for it, but it was really good. So And we usually in DC, we'll go to like a rooftop and then we'll go to a third bar and then a fourth bar. And me and my wife kind of figure out if you don't find what you're looking for at the first like three bars, you're not finding it at the fourth. At the fourth, you're throwing up. Like, and what we're looking for by this, if you start taking shots, and then it's like, let's go to the next one. We want to dance. So you get out there and you're dancing, and they let's go to the next one. We want to do the dance more. And I'm like, we're already dancing. What do you mean, dude? Ladies are dancing. I'm dancing. How much more dancing could there be somewhere else? Then you get to the fourth bar, and it's like one of the group members is dead, usually Therese, was throwing up or like getting sick. Like, they've had too much to drink. They're a light frame person, Therese. So, I don't know. I think so. Katie and I were kind of just like one bar, and we're going to go to the rooftop after that, but we decided not to. We're like, let's just go back to Reston, be a little bit closer to home, and we had a great night. We didn't hit up any of our friends. We kind of just did it, me and her, but we ended up running into our friends anyway. We stayed out for a little bit. It was really nice, and then we went home, easy peasy. So that was my night. That was a great date. We haven't done that in a long time, so. I'm going to try to plan one for her here, and they're a lot easier in the fall to do dates. But I think that's pretty much covering a lot. No clue what we talked about. I don't want to talk about Dancing with the Stars. I was a lot of listeners were trying to get me to talk about Dancing with the Stars. Don't know enough about dancing. I watched a lot of Dance Moms. That was cool. Me and my mom used to watch Dance Moms together. Abby Lee Miller Dance Studio. No, I'm going to arrest you. I will call the police. She was calling. Abby Lee Miller would call the police on you notoriously. If you looked at Abby Miller wrong, she would call the police. I don't know if anybody saw Dance Moms, but that show was intense. Me and my mom, she would watch that like on the weekend sometime, and I'd be like, "What is that?" And then I'm like, next thing you know, I'm like, "Oh yeah, is Maddie going up? Where is Maddie? Why is Maddie late?" I'm like, why is Emma dancing in her spot? Emma's no good. These girls are like 8. We're watching this show. I was like, this is a lot. But no, that was pretty funny. I'm so tired. I'm running out of battery. That's pretty much all I got, guys. Unless you can think of anything else I need to talk about, Maddie. No. All right. But we'll be back next week. I need to get another guest on. I need somebody to come on the show to keep it fresh. But other than that, that's all I have. Maddie, that can't be it. I feel like I didn't get a swing here. You promise? But there was no central theme. So what do I title this episode? What was the fucking theme? What? What? Shower thoughts, dude. Anyway, I have nothing else to say. I'm sorry. Episode 36 is a failure. That's really it. That's all I can say. God bless America. God bless our troops. Good night.